Hey guys, welcome to another video. And in this video, I plan on talking about my interesting journey to dental school. Essentially, just how I got into dental school and, how long it took me to get to where I'm at today. So, if you guys are new here, my name's Akene, and I'm a second year dental student. And on my channel, I plan on just making videos about personal development and just videos in general to help us all live our best lives. And so to get, the story started, in my undergrad, I didn't have the highest GPA, and so I decided to take the DAT my senior year. And I was going to take it towards the end of the summer of my junior year, so right before school started. But my buddy and I, who was also applying to dental school, we took Physics 2 that summer and the lab. And so taking that and studying for the DAT, once Physics 2 started, our studying for our DAT started to, I guess, get pushed on the back burner a little bit. And so by the time it hit the end of the summer, we both felt like we weren't ready. And so we waited a few weeks into our senior year of undergrad to take the DAT. And it was, looking back on it, it added a little bit more stress to everything I had going on, because I had figured at the time that taking the DAT 2 weeks into, or 3 weeks, whatever it was, into the semester, we wouldn't have any exams or anything like that yet. So it would still allow me more time to just focus on the DAT. But of course, the way that things work out, the week we had the DAT, I had, I think it was an ethics exam and I think a biochem exam or something that same week. And so that in itself was stressful. But fortunately, I made it through it, and I didn't do as well as I would have liked on the DAT. I didn't necessarily fail it either, but my overall academic average was like an 18, and I wasn't necessarily thrilled with it, but at the same time, I know that, things could have turned out much worse, especially because I remember the PAT section being much harder than I thought it was going to be based on the practice exams I had taken. And so knowing that I had the 18 DAT score, which wasn't terrible, but it also wasn't like a 23 or 24. It wasn't great. In my GPA, knowing that situation, I knew that I'd probably need to do some kind of post-bac program or some kind of work after undergrad to kind of show that I could handle the rigors of what dental school was going to present. And so fortunately, I was able to get into this post-bac program that was actually offered by my dream school. And so I started that program, and things started off going well. But I think the thing is, I started to get complacent doing that program just because I knew, oh, it's offered by my dream school. And, fortunately, I got to meet a lot of the faculty, and a lot of people were really nice and supportive. And so I think I got complacent, and I just assumed that, oh, no matter what, I'll be fine. And so my GPA started to dip in the post-bac program. And with the post-bac program, we were taking all science classes, but the thing was, we weren't taking that many credits. So getting a B plus versus an A minus in a class could really hit your GPA much harder than in undergrad when you were taking more classes. And so, yeah, so I fell a little short of the cutoff in my program. And so I ended up not being able to start dental school when I thought I was. And so that in itself was really hard, because it was hard enough knowing that I wasn't going to start dental school right after undergrad, like my friends and other people that I knew. And so knowing that, okay, even though I'm not starting right out of undergrad, at least I'm going to do this post-bac, and so it's just 1 year, and then I'll start dental school. And so I started telling my friends, and my parents were telling their friends. And so that's what made it even harder when the post-bac program didn't work out the way that I would have hoped, because all of a sudden it was like all of the people that I told I was going to be in dental school soon, and even the people I did the program with, it was tough having to tell them that, I wasn't going to be starting dental school at the time that I said I was going to be. And so it was tough. I definitely went through just, a real dark patch there of, just wanting to give up and not feeling like dental school would be for me. But I kept going, and fortunately, the people the people that ran the post-bac program were extremely supportive, and they told me, they were good at, lifting me up, and they said, that even if it means an extra year or two that I have to wait, there's still, plenty of time for me, and it's just a matter of improving. And so I took 2 online classes that first year out of the post-bac program. I believe it was anatomy and I think some physiology class or something. And I worked, and then I had applied that year for the next cycle, but I had applied a little too late, and not necessarily, I didn't apply past the deadline, but by the time I had applied, the school had already taken most of their incoming class, because I did, I think, submit my application maybe 2 weeks before the deadline, or a week or something. And so it didn't work out that year. And so for the next year, I made sure to, polish my personal statement. And in my personal statement, I really just talked about those emotions that I went through of, not being able to start school right after my post-bac program, and just how, even though I felt like giving up, I just kept going. And I talked a lot about, in my personal statement, I talked about life being a marathon, and how you might have a bad first mile or second mile or third mile, but it's up to you to keep going, to figure out, okay, this went wrong or that went wrong here, so let me fix this for miles 9 and 10, etc. So that way I can make sure that I finish much stronger than I started. And so I really emphasized that in my personal statement. And I believe that during my interview, when I reapplied the year after that, I think that was one of the things that really helped me stand out. Just really talking about that perseverance, and talking about how, I just didn't give up, and I just stayed persistent. And so fortunately, things were able to work out for me that time. And it was super exciting. I think it finally felt good to know that I didn't give up, and I stayed the course. And even though there were a lot of times where I doubted myself, and I wasn't so sure if dentistry was for me, I kept pushing through. And I kept in touch with the faculty, and I didn't necessarily talk to them every day, but if I ever had a question, I knew who to reach out to. And so that was super helpful. And so I think the overarching lesson that you guys could get from me is just that, it doesn't matter where you're starting, even if your undergrad or DAT didn't go the way that you would have wanted, there's still hope. And just to understand that, not everyone gets into school the same way. I know that my story could be different from one of my classmates' stories on how they got in and things that they went through and they persevered through. But I just know that if you want it bad enough and you stay persistent, if you want something bad enough, it'll allow you to figure out where you need to make adjustments. And that's another thing that I had to realize, is that, school's just like life, and it's a matter of making adjustments, just like in sports as well, where you might have come out with a certain game plan in the first half, and the other team knew you were going to go with that game plan, and so you were down maybe by 21 or whatever, but it's up to you to go back to the drawing board at halftime and figure out, okay, they're doing this, so let's run this when they give us this look and whatever. And then it's all about making those adjustments and putting yourself in position to capitalize on those. And as long as you guys stay persistent and you stay true to who you are, I think it'll work out for you guys. And that was always one thing that I was very big on, was just staying true to myself. And whether it was in the interview process or even just during my post-bac program. And I think when you stay true to who you are and you're just a genuine person. And especially when you're trying to, enter a field like dentistry, you have to care for other people and you have to be compassionate. And I think when you just stay true to that, people can feel that. And when people feel that energy coming from you, it can only help you. And so, yeah, you guys, I just wanted to make that video just to talk about my journey to dental school, and hopefully you guys found some value in it. If you guys stayed to watch the whole video, I appreciate you. And it would mean the world to me if you guys would tap the like button and then subscribe and tap on the notification bell so YouTube notifies you each time I post a new video. And so that's it for me today, you guys, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.